Dune 2 is officially out and is the most popular movie in the world at the moment, mainly because its main competition is this. But still, I was very excited for this film, and I was locked in, snacks in hand, ready to go. But after watching it, I can confidently say I had mixed thoughts. I think the first Dune is fantastic. It's paced very well, and it does a great job to introduce us into this universe while also setting really high stakes for our characters. This Dune 2 had a lot to live up to, but thankfully it has the same exact team around it as before, so all of the technical stuff, once again, is fantastic. Some breathtaking shots with really well-designed CGI, beautiful score, great sound effects in every scene, and some masterclass world building. But for some reason, I left the theater feeling a bit underwhelmed and weirdly unsatisfied. Is this because I had higher hopes for this film more than most any other film? Or perhaps, is there something wrong with it and not me? I wanted to dig deeper, and after some heavy introspections, not only did I realize that I'm not that into potato salad, I realized that this film has a few problems. The first problem here is the one that is unfortunately unfixable, and took me out of the film on multiple occasions. It's Hollywood. Hollywood is the problem. Every single character in this film is played by an A-list actor. And I mean A-list. There are no C to D-list actors in this entire thing. Even the Worm is played by Andy Serkis. Kidding, but still, even with characters that have literally less than 3 seconds of screen time are played by Emmy Award-winning actresses. There is one casting decision in this movie that makes me genuinely mad and made me laugh out loud when I saw who it was. Like, I thought it was an SNL sketch or something. No spoilers, but man, I almost Christopher walked out of the theater, if you know what I'm saying. Now, I've seen a lot of people compare this film to Star Wars, and rightly so. Lots of Star Wars imagery and themes come right from the same source material. However, one thing that Star Wars has done better than Dune is the casting, which sounds like weird to say, but I think it's true. George Lucas got Mark Hamill, who was an absolute no-name weirdo,
Up for dinner.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done.
to play the main character of this epic space trilogy. And for the other castings, he kind of got the people that he just knew around him from his previous works. Harrison Ford was barely a name at the time. I mean, Alec Guinness might have been the most famous actor in the first film. Because of that, we as an audience get to see these characters and actors grow into one another, and they become the characters who we think of now. Now when I see Mark Hamill, I think that's Luke Skywalker. And when I think of Luke Skywalker, I picture Mark Hamill. When I look at Timothée Chalamet, I think, isn't that the twink who's dating Kylie Jenner? I know that's, what does that say about me, really? But his reputation kind of precedes him at this point. He's still a really good actor and is probably one of my favorite parts of this whole movie. But for the entire cast, it can be a little grating, is all I'm saying. Especially when Stellan Skarsgård hit the gritty halfway through the movie. Now, it's not all bad casting. I think Austin Butler is amazing in this role, and so is Javier Bardem. Great casting on both parts there. Everyone else, Rebecca Ferguson's really well casted. She's really good in it. But like everyone else, probably like a C to a C+. And there's like 2 that are F minuses. And I just cannot look past at all. I don't know if that, again, says something about me, but man, it's goofy. The goal here is for Hollywood to try to get the most famous people in the world in the biggest movie ever, so everyone and their dog will go see it. And so far, it looks like it's working. The other main issues I have with Dune 2 come from my own ignorance, because I've not read the source material. But I think if you're making a movie about a source material, it should be your duty to tell that story properly and in a way that makes sense. There are just some confusing things that happen in this film. Basically, I'm stupid and I'm blaming the movie. But still, the Lady Pentaveret, or whatever the hell they call it, the witches, they appear out of thin air. There's always like 40 of them everywhere. They're always there, no matter where there is. Like, they're everywhere in this movie. They're in, like, every scene somehow. And it's like, how are you here now? Weren't you just there? Like, what? That's just me. I don't know if anyone else had that problem, but they were everywhere. I also think this film just tells a story of, like, a multiple-year span. And there's no time on Arrakis, which is, like, kind of a nice detail, actually. You don't need to know how much time passed. They don't really know how much time passed. Kind of, like, really immerses you more in this world. But, like, it does get a little jarring when one scene says, "You'll never learn how to do that. He'll never teach you. Only Fremen can do that. And, it takes years of training, blah, blah, blah." And then the literal next scene is him just doing it. And I'm like, oh, was that like a day later? That was probably like 6 months later is what I was thinking. I was like, there's no way that just happened overnight, like he's doing it again. Like, no, that probably took months. But it's never said, which is fine. It just leaves me with some questions, which maybe is what it wants to do, but I don't know. It bugged me a little bit. I don't know. Also, they mention throughout the whole movie randomly, I don't remember this from the first one, I could be wrong, but they said The south part of Arrakis is completely inhabitable and no one lives there. This isn't really spoilers, by the way. This is pretty early on. Then they show the south side of Arrakis and it looks the exact same as the other side, and then they just land there, and then it's like fine. It's like totally habitable. There's like 1,000 people there randomly. So it wasn't inhabitable. What was making it seem inhabitable? Because they had dust storms? You literally have spaceships. You can just go up above the dust storm. You got here in a spaceship. Just use the spaceship to go down there. I mean, really, it's not that hard. But tiny things like those did stick out to me, and they are nitpicks. I admit that they are. They did just bug me just a little bit to make me not like fully realize this movie's kind of potential. Maybe a rewatch would be really good for me. But it just goes to show you that making movies is really hard to do, and making Dune movies are even harder. The source material is so thick with context and details that it can actually hinder some parts of the film. Star Wars worked better in this realm because it didn't come straightly from that source material. It just came from this fucking guy's mind, and who knows what he's thinking. But that's it. Clearly not a big deal, but enough to make me go, damn, I wish that guy wasn't in this movie. With at least one. But still, it's a great film made by an extraordinary filmmaker that is absolutely deserving of being seen in theaters. Go watch it and let me know what you think. Let me know if you find the same problems with me. But if not, thanks for watching.